Hey, what's going on? My name is Rosebud. Welcome to Psychotherapy for the Soul. So this is another episode for my Dream Psychology, Dream Spirituality playlist. Okay, so this one is really difficult for me to talk about, but it's kind of like reoccurring in some ways, in some form. So I'm going to talk about two dreams in this video because it's both relating to the same theme-ish and same person. So another celebrity actor, just like in the first video that you guys can watch, not gonna say his name so I don't embarrass myself as much as I already have, because I did once spam his IG account by accident because I thought he was aware of our sharing of dreams, and right after I spammed his IG, I deleted all the messages out of paranoia that I was going to be seen like a kook who has a mental illness. So I will definitely not be mentioning his name. So this one's really difficult for me to talk about, and it's actually one of the things that Sigmund Freud talks about in the interpretation of dreams. He mentions that some dreams are really difficult to express because they bring out the most tabooistic, most vulnerable, most intimate desires from deep of the unconscious. And when I read that part, I was like, oh, there's nothing that I can't talk about. And then I have like these incredible intimate dreams with this person. Okay, so I'll talk about the one I had first last night. So last night in my dream, it was very short-lived. It was as I was waking up. I had a dream that I entered the bathroom or something like that, and I got aroused by this celebrity actor. And I actually looked at myself in the mirror in the bathroom. That's very significant, the mirror. And I watched myself ejaculate. Yeah, I just watched myself like ejaculate. And like, it wasn't like just like a regular, like I'm urinating. It was like I'm legit ejaculating. And I've never had, I've had wet dreams, and like we've all had wet dreams, but this one was like, last night was like, it was like a waterfall coming out of my vagine, all right? So of course no children should be watching this video. So I actually pulled out ejaculation in the dream book, and this represents the dreamer's attitude to sex often becomes apparent in dreams through the sexual act, and to ejaculate in a dream may be an effort to understand negative feelings. It could also simply be indicative of the need for release and for satisfaction of sexual needs. That's one. Another one is giving up of old fears and doubts about oneself and one's sexual prowess, and quite literally may signify a loss of power or the little death. So I found that like absolutely incredible. Okay, I found this interpretation absolutely incredible because I would have never guessed. Okay, I have definitely been indeed going through a major death. Okay, spiritual death. I've been going through a major transformation. I've been feeling very tired. And usually when we go through a major spiritual transformation, a rebirth, a death, our souls just are tired, right? It's trying to shed everything that is not us, okay? And I've definitely been going through this kind of ending. I've also had a lot of sexual trauma from my 20s, just really bad relationships, and in my 20s I was an unconscious feminine, searching for love, wanting love, and putting myself in sexual relationships in which were really unhealthy for me, and specifically with one person on a repetition. And you know, there was some sexual abuse involved and trauma, And I'm just coming clean about that because there's honestly no point in holding back when I'm kind of sharing my healing experience, and I've come a long way with that. So you know, I've experienced sexual trauma from that, and it caused me a lot of night terrors and pain. And as I was awakening into my feminine power into my late 20s, that was when I realized that I gave a lot of my power away because I thought that the masculine energy would change and that I would eventually be loved appropriately. And I actually don't have sex now, and it's not because I don't want to have it, and it's not because I don't need it. It's because I just simply have not been able to connect with a person that I'm in love with. Okay, so this is why I'm bringing it up, because the ejaculation, the first one, is this need for release and satisfaction of sexual needs. But then it's also about releasing fears of an old kind of sexual trauma. It's becoming a little bit dark. We'll see if I can brighten it up. You know, when I was younger in my 20s, and I'm just sharing now, when I was younger in my 20s, when I would have sex, because I thought that that's how I would gain a relationship or be loved, I felt really empty afterwards. I felt like I was betraying my soul. So now I have been actually telling the whole world now, I've actually been celibate for like 6 years, and like having sex with another person, and it's just because I simply cannot just be in a sexual relationship. I can't. I need to have like love or trust and safety, and this is because of that trauma or those fears that this kind of ejaculation dream decided to bring up. So deeply intimate, but also the point of this channel is to kind of share this kind of subconscious dream psychological aspects. I'm more open now, and I'm not afraid of who I am, and I'm very confident in who I am. I'm confident in my sexuality. I'm confident in my looks. I'm confident in my body image. I'm confident in who I am, and I'm not embarrassed about my sexual life or my sexual lifestyle. I'm not embarrassed of my sexuality. So I'm very open about talking about this because it doesn't hurt me like it used to, and it could help other people too. So this is kind of like a sharing opportunity. And this celebrity actor, I've had a lot of dreams with him, and I seem to have a lot of sexual dreams with him, and he seems to bring out a lot of like intimate, primal, like sexual desires and needs from me, and I often wake up feeling a little bit vulnerable and uncomfortable, simply because I don't know what it is about him, honestly. So I don't know if he's asleep, like in the sense where like he's unconscious to this, or if he's conscious, because at times I feel like he's also conscious, and I feel like I've been having this conscious dream, telepathic, sexual relationship with this celebrity actor in this dream world. I feel like I've been in this relationship with this person for like a few years in the dreams. And I'm not really sure what brought it on. Maybe watching his movies, maybe it's a telepathic, energetic exchange. I don't know, but he doesn't talk to me in real life, so obviously, you know what I mean, it has to be subconscious. At least this is like me interpreting as a dream reader and a psychic. So another second dream about this, as I continue to express myself, because that's what's necessary. The second dream is also of the sexual nature, and I found it really funny, but I was actually being eaten, like eaten out, so it was another wet dream, by this celebrity actor. and they actually have an eating section, and being eaten in a dream signifies we are aware of being attacked by our own or possibly other people's emotions and fears, or by our internal drives. So I found that really interesting because, as I mentioned in the first dream, I felt like it was an energetic exchange, that that person was also going through the same thing that I was going through, and we were having a soul exchange. And in this case, I feel like me being eaten, I was actually getting the emotions and fears of that person. I was actually receiving from this individual as well, his kind of like intimate thoughts and emotions. And he was also bringing out those fears in me because I was actually pushing him off at the very beginning. So I was actually trying to push that off. And in this case, like refusing the food shows that it's me isolating myself from others. So I've actually been trying to grow from that. I've been quite I'm quite internal, and even making these videos have made me very I have a lot of fears that pop into my head. Don't do it, don't talk, don't speak, all this stuff. But I know that I'm safe to do so. So this is kind of like those things that it's kind of coming out in the dream. It's like I'm learning to be more expressive and vulnerable and social, and not isolate myself from others, and not be afraid to talk about what's on my mind, not being afraid to express what's in my throat chakra. And that's why right now you guys are seeing like this explosion of YouTube videos of me just talking, because I'm getting more confident about expressing myself and saying what's on my mind, and taking and talking more about who I am. So of course I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, because there's no need, and I've already embarrassed myself enough. But this is kind of like my interpretation. So another aspect, remember we talked about that in the first dream, is that this person represents my own personal ego identity. So if I were to look deep into my subconscious and I look at his personality, which is very, in my eyes, very masculine, this could be interpreting this internal masculine within me, this kind of primal need for like sex or sexual needs, or this fear of sex from the past, especially like the fear of sex. Not that I'm afraid of sex, but more like removing the old fears that I had in sex, the old pain that I had in sex, and him kind of like representing that. And as a result, I'm healing that aspect in my mind too, and in my subconscious as well, as he kind of like comes into my dreams. Now, whether this person, oh, I didn't know I can do that. Whether this person is aware or not, I don't know. You know what I mean? I believe that, again, at times, because I've had many dreams with him, I think that he's definitely awake. You know what I mean? Okay, this is the only soul. There might be another one that is consciously aware that I'm consciously aware, and we're both consciously aware in this dream. You know, I'm just so sure of that, right? But never heard of him. He's never called me or talked to me in real life. So how could that be, right? So that's where like these very vulnerable dream recollections that Sigmund Freud talks about, and even Carl Jung mentions too, how, you know, it's not just about the unconscious fire that Sigmund Freud talks about, so the taboos, the sexual, the unconscious sexuality, and how that brings out those kind of inner desires, because that's what Sigmund Freud thought was the dreams. But it's also the spiritual aspects and the precognitive, telepathic, spiritual connection to life and others that Carl Jung brought out in the dreams. That it's not necessarily this or that it's has many meanings and possibilities. So in this case, because they're so repetitive, like they're so repetitive, I believe that I'm truly spiritually, telepathically connecting with this person. Whether he's unconscious or conscious, it doesn't even matter. I'm, as a psychic, definitely connecting, but it is still like an exploration of self, because I am being vulnerable in dreams with my sexuality, with my internal external expression, and how I feel about that. So it's still my perception of the experience. So that's that dream. That wasn't so bad. And on to the next one. I like how it kind of finished really dark. I mean, this was kind of dark. This was like a very kind of shadowy video, and you know, I feel like I'm exposing a secret of mine, and I feel like I'm also exposing this person's secret, but it's also kind of irrational to believe that, because he's not actually physically present, even if he is astral traveling to me or not, right? So this is kind of like an intimate video that I'm very excited to share. And you know, I would really love to hear from you guys. Like, you guys can comment below and tell me if you've had a similar experience, and you know, how you dealt with that. All right, cool, bye.